Good evening, everybody. It is Sunday night, and we are here once again for another session of our actual play set in the world of the comic book of Coddlesworth's Clockwork Circus, like Clockwork. Joining us tonight are our cast. Sans Sin is unavailable this evening. They will rejoin us next week. But in the meantime, we can still go around the horn real quick and see what, if anything, Joy would like to say about the state of the world.
The world is good. Thanksgiving is soon, and people will eat. I don't have anything else, though. Sorry.
Those were statements. Very good. Well, then we'll move right along to see what Elizabeth might have to say.
Nothing really. I actually no, I do have notes. I have notes. I am talking about the Learn to Play program tonight. We have some people that always volunteer their time to teach character creation and then teach a one shot so that you can learn D&D 5e. The next character creation, if you are interested, is Monday, November 28th from 8 to 10 Eastern Standard Time. And the wonderful Derica will be teaching that. So if you want to learn how to create characters, you can sign up. Right now we have 3 spots left for that. And then the play is Wednesday, December 14th from 8 to 10 Eastern Standard Time. And I will be doing that. So if you want to learn how to play and create characters, we have 3 spots left open for you. I think that's
Learn to play Dungeons and Dragons and other RPGs. Good times.
I mean, that's pretty much a universal thing, though, so.
Speaking of, John.
Yeah.
Hello.
It's true. Hello, everyone.
What is up?
The reason I don't have my jeweled eyebrows on is because Sin stole them before they left, so I apologize for that. I'll try to fix that during the break. I have a few things. Yesterday, or the day before, this time is fluid, I got to be part of the Shadowrun Missions panel at BeakerCon, which was a lot of fun. Getting to talk with Teslin and Aaron and a couple of the other writers about what's coming up in the Shadowrun universe. There are some really cool things, including things that are happening after we're done with whatever is happening in Seattle, whenever that is. And I'm really excited to be part of it. So outside of REM, I continue on with my podcasts, including Everything is Gay, Even the Straight Stuff. We had an episode go up this past week about my new favorite Pixar movie, Turning Red. So if you want to hear me talk about the idea of transformation and the idea of kind of aesthetic, and how a trailer can be cut to mislead, and a much better movie can actually be had than a trailer can have. Turning Red, great movie, not as good a trailer. I am also in charge of the Rem Alternus, moving back to Rem. I'm in charge of the Rem Alternus kind of Secret Santa of getting people's names and information to other people. So if you want to be part of the Secret Santa and you are in the Discord, make sure that you filled out the survey thing by Wednesday so I can get that information out. This week in the Alternate Archives, we are still on the 7th sea. Yo-ho, yo-ho, as the pirates say. Lots of magic, lots of mischief and mayhem. Please join. And after you've listened in the Alternate Archives, go to the Rem Alternus YouTube page, because now there is a video there that is a commercial for something happening very special in the new year. At the Alternate Archives that I am involved in and Elizabeth is involved in, and it's going to be a fun time. But first, go and listen to the current Alternate Archives on Friday when it drops, or whenever you listen to it, because pirates are wonderful, and it's really cool to hear what's happening in the 7th Sea, which is different from what we're doing here in D&D. So yeah, all happening here at Rem Alternus, whether we want it to or not.
It's all happening right here at Rem Alternus. Well, what's happening in Chicago, Alex?
It was like we almost won a couple game in Chicago this weekend. Missed it by 1 point, which is really good for us, actually, if I'm being honest here. So that happened. I have a rather big life announcement that I'm hoping to tell you guys next week, but I'm waiting on it, so I can't tell anybody. If I never mention this again, it didn't work out. But if it does work out, you will find out what it is next week.
Like you won the Powerball? Is that what happened?
No, as in might win the Powerball sometime this week, and will tell us that she won the Powerball next week.
That's right, Danny.
But
Wait,
feels
wait,
good about winning the Powerball this week.
Oh wait, did you sign up to like work in an Eastern European country as a science teacher, and you're gonna fall in love with Timothy Dalton? Is that what happened?
I already have the love of my life, but I mean, I love the fan theories.
Yeah.
Tell us all about how upset you are, and anything else you want to talk about.
I maybe can't wait.
I mean, if she doesn't tell us, it's because she actually didn't end up having a secret after all. Also,
Wait, are you going to be in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade?
Somehow. I don't know. You're not muted from us, but Thomas says you are muted. Intriguing. Technology.
Maybe Thomas's sound just isn't on.
No,
but I presume he hears the rest of us.
Guys, don't think about that one too hard.
The thing is moving now. I don't know why it disconnected from my mic because it never does for this show. Anyway, I was just expressing my frustrations with Alex, and now, what? Oh, words. So I don't know. There's a lot happening. We have. Here, let me just pull up my to-do list because that'll help. So in terms of Kickstarters we have coming next year, so far, we have Hibernaculum is a video game that's a sci-fi horror, like 8-bit type thing. Vector Tridents has Exit Vector, which is going to be a Rigger minis game, so if you like Shadowrun, that's kind of a close tie there. Pure Alchemy Soaps, the pledge manager is only open another week, so if you haven't gotten your gelatinous cube soap, now is the last chance. Coddlesworth backer kit is open. It should be closing by the end of November, and then we're going to place orders, and then Ava and I are going to Michigan in January to fulfill. Well of the Worlds by Mobius Worlds Publishing is an RPG setting. It's a setting for Prowlers and Paragons, which is a superhero game system, but Well of the Worlds is kind of a isekai, like you go into a well and come out in a different world, and fun. Nocturne by Night should be on Pledge Manager soon. Subversion is a cyberpunk fantasy RPG. Gilded Age is a fun board game, and it's by a Black creator, Winston. If you follow us here on REM on Saturday mornings, it's been on break for a while, but it's his game, and I'm super excited about it. And then possibly Funny Freakout, which is a Zine Quest, or Zine Quest, however you say it, that was done by Clifton Wright, and he wants to turn it into a bigger game rather than just a handwritten little game guide. So that is everything currently on our plate. And then if you care about, because the other thing that is the other half of my time is Shadowrun audiobooks, we now have a whole slew of them. Another Rainy Night is a novella, and that's going to be narrated by Jason Charles Miller, who is a pretty famous voice actor, which is super cool. Changeling is by a new narrator, Will Mortensen. And that's like about a kid who undergoes goblinization and cool stuff like that. complete frame job is a novella, and we've got a trans reader for that, which I'm very excited about. Essie, Elizabeth.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So Essie is playing Frostburn, who's a semi-famous Shadowrunner. And basically the novella, it's a compilation of novellas, and each story is narrated by a different team member of the Shadowrun team. So Frostburn will have dialogue that appears in previous novellas, and then she'll have her own novella, which is super cool and tells the whole story from a different perspective. Dark Resonance has a new narrator, Marcus Freeman, and Dark Resonance is about technomancers. Kill Penalty is a novella about, what's the game? I'm blanking on the game in Shadowrun.
Are you talking about the sports, Urban Brawl, or Combat Biker?
Urban Brawl. So it's an Urban Brawl novella by Clifton Wright or Clifton Lambert, as they're known when they are writing for Shadowrun, and they're narrating their own book. King of the Streets is narrated by Randy, who used to be on Clockwork and will come back, and that's by Opti, who is in our community as well, and it is a Aztlan narrator, so you get some Mexican perspective. Nothing Personal. I'm not even sure what that's about. It's a novella, new reader. Terminus Experiment is about vampires. That's Patrick Keefe. Under Shadows is a novella. I haven't gotten to read it yet, but it's going to feature Christina V, who is also a pretty famous voice actress. And then Vladivostok Gauntlet, Russian, man, guys, is going... I just am dealing with this contract right now. Robert Hartley is going to be our narrator, who reads a lot of books on his YouTube channel, and does great dialects and stuff, and he's was born in Yorkshire but lives in New Zealand. So he's 18 hours ahead of me, so it's been fun trying to get on calls with him. But when I did, that voice. So yeah, there's a ton coming, and it's a lot. That's why my brain is fried now, but it's all great.
Very exciting. I know a lot of those people. I'm super stoked about that. So good times. All right. Well, with that all said and done, let's go ahead and get into our story here. Pick up where we left off last week, because it's about that time. And with that, we are back. We left off last week with Peruynia having gone to her second match of the tournament, where she fought a very interesting individual, the lady Helen Uskun, who everybody sort of got a bad vibe from, perhaps, especially Panabon. So after the fight, Panabon went out to see where Lady Uskun and her companions, bodyguards, maybe hard to say, where they might have gone off to. Meanwhile, Phoebe was wondering what exactly Peruynia wanted to do for the rest of the day, whether that was stick around and maybe watch some of the other fights or anything else that she might want to do. And Rojelio had caught up with Shaelune at the university, where they are about to go down and speak with Ahmad Skrial about maybe any spells that Shaelune could possibly learn about, and also to maybe discuss some of the things that Rojelio has on his mind. So with that, we will bring us first then to Shaelune and Rojelio at the university as they make their way down in the School of Arcanum from the divination wing to the faculty heads' offices, where they will find Ahmad Skrial. But on that walk, Rojelio, did you have anything you were going to speak to?
Yeah, I was going to say, we're picking up right from the part where that student that I said not to speak of anything that he just saw immediately spoke about what he just saw to the next person they saw. I'm going to pick up from there, right?
Well, they said it's they said it to you in front of Shaelune, and they only referenced the thing. They didn't actually say the thing.
Okay, just double checking.
Yes.
Gotcha. Yeah. So we're gonna close the door on that one and start to walk on our walks. I told Shaelune like I was absolutely going to tell and ask Shaelune about that, but just not in the area class just let out, or class is letting in, so people are walking by us. So
yes,
once we're walking down the hallway, okay, I was gonna say once we're walking down the hall at least a bit, like not in that area anymore, so that the topic of conversation could just be random and it's not as apparent of what we're talking about. Then I will talk to Shaelune. But
right. Well, so there's a lot of activity right now as several classes are starting up. As you are making your way down the stairs, you realize by this time that work has begun in earnest outside to rebuild and repair the wall of the school that had been damaged in a previous attack that you were not witness to. And as you get down to the first floor and enter into sort of a larger foyer lobby area, everything starts to kind of quiet down as all of the students that are around, most of them have gone into their classes at this point. You can see there's a directory that tells you which way each of the different schools of magic are taught, and the directions to the faculty heads, as well as at the far end of the foyer there is a desk with a student kind of sitting quietly, notices as you enter from the stairwell, but seeing that you're not making a beeline for them at all, just kind of goes back to whatever they're reading in front of them at the counter.
Throughout the
I was gonna say,
oh, go ahead.
sorry. I was curious where we stopped there at the desk. Is that at the office that we were heading to, or is this along the walk?
This is along the way, so
Okay.
You're about to. Right. If you keep going, you're just going to head down into a hallway that's generally empty. That's got several doors with offices for the faculty heads.
Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
Along the way, I was just gonna say that I was periodically side-eyeing you about what that student just said, but like.
Oh, okay. Yeah. As I pick up on that, I will tell you. Like we will. I'm eager to tell you this, but I will tell you. We'll talk about this in a less occupied space. So once we make it to that area that Danny described, it's not as many people around. Then I'll open up. Like, so, Miss Shaelune.
I'm just Shaelune. I'm
just Shaelune. I wanted to know a little bit more about myself, so I got the core in my chest kind of identified in the same fashion that we identified the other objects in that room. And for the most part, it seemed like it was the history of the core and where it came from, and they got such a large shard. But there was an instance right before I came to, and right before, kind of intermediate between when Lex had originally hit me, that I am in no means familiar with, and I was curious if you knew anything about this or could shed any light on it. And I wanted to, Danny, let me know if I'm reiterating this incorrectly, because I am going to say it to the best of my ability. But there was, from the moment Lex hit me to the moment I woke up, which was instantaneous, there was a brief vision of what seemed to be a forest with a bunch of leaves falling down, and there was some kind of figure amongst the leaves, I believe, like floating in the leaves or in that area. I've definitely never seen this vision or this person or anything like that before, but I did see them in the magical retelling of the core that's in me. Does this symbolize or mean anything to you, or have you heard stories of anything like this?
The only thing the only thing it makes me think of is you are a mechanical being with a magical heart, for lack of a better term. But it seems as though that Nazorin acts more of a battery, so far as we know, rather than actually supplies magical abilities and spells and things like that. So I have no idea why this vision took place in a forest, but it's possible that there's something spiritual, perhaps a god or something like Nipaway with Aegis, who you didn't get to meet, but it's possible that your power comes from a higher being, as Aegis claimed his abilities did. And so that vision could be potentially the god, but that's a guess on my part. That's the only thing I can think of that would make sense.
And Danny, thinking back on that vision, because I don't remember if you said, was there any like specific descriptive detail of said silhouetted person in there that would give me an like indication of maybe it was like a god or something, like Shaelune just said, of like a particular type?
Nothing like that. The individual that you saw, interestingly, the outline, it was vaguely human. You didn't get the best look at them because of the leaves that were just constantly falling from the trees as they grew. As the leaves blossomed, greened, and then withered and fell from the trees all in like a matter of seconds, and so it just kept falling. So it was almost like a rainstorm of leaves, if you will. And so through that, you saw this individual. Thinking about it, there was something a little bit unhuman or maybe inhuman about the way that it was moving through. You got a sense that maybe its limbs were a little bit longer and perhaps more than just the elbow, wrist, knee, ankle movement points. That its face you didn't catch. Maybe it was even blank. It was hard to say. You just definitely got the sense that it looked like right at you somehow.
So longer limbs with more joints was the key takeaway of what this thing resembled in that's not human.
Right.
Okay. And I would share that with Shaelune if they have any, because they at least seem like they've had run-ins with different beings or different stuff like that before, if it rings a bell, but...
I don't know. Gnomes aren't particularly religious. We don't have a god of our own. Don't say that around Panabon.
I just mean from your travels, sorry, not your religions in particular.
Yeah, so I don't know much about like what would a god look like. But it's possible with the Shadow Fae opening and intersecting with our world, it's possible that there's beings that aren't gods that have powers that could loan that power out. So I don't know, is it a good being? Is it a bad being? Is it a god? Is it a monster? Is it a something? I don't know. It could be a lot of things based on the weird stuff we've seen. Something we've never run into before.
That's fair. It was a large ask, but I was curious if you've heard of or ran into anything of the sort. And just to take a very minor step back, did you say Panabon's religious?
Panabon really wants there to be a gnome god, and it's just one of many ways to get Panabon worked up.
I have never picked up on that. Interesting. But okay, nonetheless. All right, thank you. And if you would like to keep this between us, we can, but I know you all are also not too keen on the secrets, but I figured if maybe we have one, you might be more interested in that. Because this is my personal business, but I'd like to share that with you because I trust you.
I think that if something were to come up that showed that whatever this entity is could be a risk, if it came after you, for instance, then that's something that the group should know because it puts us all at risk. But if it's something that is personal to you that isn't going to hurt everyone or lie or manipulate or whatever, then that's yours.
Well, I'd say it is quite personal, but I only know as much about it as I've just told you, so I couldn't tell you, to be honest, but this is what I'm trying to look into.
Well, unless if something happens, you get more visions or something like that, you can tell me, but I don't think that if it's something that you just want to hold close because it's yours, it's not going to put the others at risk. So you don't have to tell them.
Absolutely. Well, in the future, if there is anything I find out about this, you will be the first person I come to let know.
Again, if you're comfortable with it, but also like, I only want to know. the reason I get so mad is I just don't want things that are going to hurt us or surprise us or kill us, or I just want everyone to be safe. So
well, that's incredibly understood, but I'm sure from what I've heard of everybody else, they'd want exactly the same for you. They might not have the best way of showing it, but...
Let's talk to the Skrill, Professor Skrill.
Yeah, absolutely. And I take that as drop the conversation.
She's just like awkward at this point. She doesn't know what to do. So, so the person, if we go up to the desk, like, do they direct? How would we get there?
You know where the office is. It's just down this another hall where the faculty hall is. It's the office you were in the previous day.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I'll just again, I'm not socially the best, so I'm just gonna walk into, like, knock knock, open the door.
Yeah. Hello. Well, are you Miss
Flaglight. Right.
Flaglight? Yes, indeed. Good morning.
Good morning.
And you, sir. Good morning to you as well. Please have a seat.
I climb up into a chair. I went to the lab this morning already and talked to the 2 students, and they helped run another item or 2 items, but they were unsure of if I could borrow books. I wanted to look through what your class loads are offering and see what maybe exchange of information we could find. Divinity is fascinating, and I've never really spent much time on it. But the other thing is too access to the scrying lab, so we can check in on, family and stuff like that.
I see.
Oh, also, if there's any, used alchemy equipment from the school that is loaned to students or anything that's whether for sale or just to use for a while, that would be appreciated as well.
I see. Well, I suppose if you were willing to pay lab fees, I could just ensure you have access to what you need. The scrying, there's not the same sort of equipment or laboratory that we have as we have for the other device. That is one of the advanced magics that we teach to our advanced students. You may be able to have one of them engage in scry on your behalf, or if perhaps you can, if you are capable of casting magic at that degree of power, perhaps you might.
I'd sure like to try. I mean, there's still so much we don't know, right? And with my travels, I've been able to figure out and dabble in some things I've never seen before. So, it'd be keen to try.
Yes. Well, let's come with me. And with that, he stands up and begins heading out the office. He explains that he's going to take you to an admin person in the admin building to get you signed up for lab fees, if you will. And this way you'll be able to kind of get started on doing your own thing.
And books and all that come with it.
Right.
Okay.
To be able to make use of some of them.
Cool.
So with that, we bring us back to...
Can I say one more thing to Rojelio?
Sure.
I'm trying to fit a full university course load into our visit for as long as we're in town is going to be challenging, and I could use your assistance if you have the time and are willing to learn some new magics.
I have nothing but time, and I would absolutely love to learn some new magics with you. Should I go get the books?
Let's get all signed up first, and then we'll go collect everything.
I absolutely love that Shaelune has managed to essentially study at this university's Harvard in my mind. My mind is rolled up and is now doing all the student things at the school.
I'm
All
like,
Shaelune wanted.
how long are we staying here? Because forever is fine. Like,
You're just indomitable personality. It was just like, and now I'm a student again. It's great.
Meanwhile, Panabon, you
Hello.
are following behind at a reasonable distance. The Lady Uskun and her two companions. Go ahead and start, please, with a stealth check.
A stealth check. So we'll see if I'm doing my theme song out loud or in my head.
In your head. All right. So you are following them. They are making their way west. They eventually arrive at one of the SkyTrain stations. They board a SkyTrain heading westward, and you manage to get on board the same train, but in the car behind, and just kind of trying to keep an eye on when you think they're going to exit from the train. And
Can I tell by body language if they're bodyguard or more companion? There's a very subtle difference between someone they're intent on keeping you safe and someone just there to be with you.
give me an insight check.
My insight is not as strong, but hopefully still good.
They're not friends. So they work for her in some capacity. You can't really tell if they are. You can't really tell if they are if they're like actual bodyguards, though that's probably part of maybe what they're doing, or if they're just people that are going. That they are just there to, like, if she needs something, they can, just hop to it real quick. So you're not too sure about that, but you do know that they're not, like buddies or friends of hers in some way. They are some type of servant or employee. So yeah, with that, you eventually exit. They don't stay in the train for too long. It appears that they exit in Sunny Peak, probably 2 stops into Sunny Peak. And as you follow them through here, there's a lot of activity. A lot of people are moving around in this area. It's not hard for you to kind of stay back in the distance. But eventually they come to I guess the best way to describe it would be like a walled compound of some sort. And as they approach the front, the doorkeeper just opens the door, seeing her arrive to allow them in, and then simply closes the door behind. There's just, as far as you can tell, there's the guard at a gate, and maybe that's more of a doorman than a guard, really. But because you don't see he doesn't have a weapon on him at all that you can see. Let's see. As the gate closes and you are looking at it, you see that it says in rather large letters in Melvedi, Anshotor Manor, I guess would be the best way to translate. So it looks like the domain of whoever is in the city from Anshotor. From your understanding, Castanede is the seat of like government, where the United Nations equivalent of Einaland, everyone comes.
Everything is centralized here. It's so annoying. Doesn't anyone think for themselves? So in Julaludi, the houses were essentially against a canyon wall, so there was no backyard. And the word manor to me infers compound with the wall all the way around. So is there like a back alley? Is there any like graffiti they haven't removed from these outer walls that I can like see yet?
So there's definitely alleys, and you can go around behind and crawl around and do all kinds of stuff here. It's the standard sort of city in that way. This is a very clean and nice part of said city. And you have seen, as you have been traveling through it and from the SkyTrain above, that a lot of these blocks, like these city blocks, the buildings are on the block, and then the interior of the blocks are like, there's almost like a shared little park space in a lot of these blocks. And so, yeah, there's definitely, you could get behind and see what's up or move about, etc.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do like a kind of a walking tour around the space because it's daytime too, and so like I'm good, but like there is such a thing as not having Shaelune throwing sparkly darts in my direction because I was stupid enough to do this during the daytime. So I would just like to kind of take a walking tour around the building because I know where it is now, so I can come back later. It also gives me time to do recon, so I could potentially visit like a coffee house in the area and maybe visit the hospital where those like kids might be, if this is close enough to the school. I've been thinking a lot of things, but I'm going around doing my like Pink Panther sleuthing, just like this is where she lives.
Yeah, absolutely. Just kind of moving around the back, trying not to gather too much attention to yourself, but also not trying to look like you're up to anything nefarious. You go around back, and there's definitely an open area. There's like a grassy area. There's some benches and stuff for people to kind of sit and relax. And it looks like this is not necessarily a place for the people who live in those houses to sit and relax, but rather the people who work around in the area. Because you see a couple of people sitting at a table, just they're wearing sort of like white collar, equivalent of white collar, like casual work attire, right?
Yeah.
And sitting and like they look over in your direction as you kind of poke around, and then go back to just talking amongst themselves, paying real mind. So the idea of someone being back here, you can tell almost immediately, is that this is just a place where people might be expected to be. So you're not like drawing any attention by being back here.
I'm actually going to go over them and go, hello, oh, thank goodness I saw some people. I'm super lost.
Yeah. What can we do for you?
I just got a new job as a cleaner. Am I in the right area? I'm looking for, oh gosh, what's the lady's name? Lady Uskun. I'm supposed to. I just got hired to do some cleaning, and I'm trying to figure out if I'm in the right place.
Well, the Uskuns, they'd be the in Shoto, right? Yeah, that's that compound right there. And he points to the back wall of the compound. You can see that there is a back gate that is looks like solid wood. You can't like just peer through it or anything, but it's the wall is maybe somewhere between 8 to 10 feet tall, and that's the wall that goes all around. The building itself is actually a few stories up, so from the top, you can actually see a couple balconies too. You could actually look out over the back here. Yeah, that would be it. You probably should go around the front and check in with uh, the gateman.
Oh, yes, of course, definitely. I just am glad I found the right place. I'm new to the city and I got hired by an agency, so I'm still trying to find my way around.
Yeah.
How do you, yeah, how do you find Lady Uskin? Is she a kind of a wonderful, nice person?
Yeah, I've never met her. We're actually over in the administrative offices there for
Oh,
some other fellows, if you will, sort of corporate sort of folks. Managed to get some offices here. It pays, I guess, if you're into doing a variety of inventing and corporate uh, dealings to have offices close to all the diplomats. So we that's uh, that's
oh
where we're
yes.
at. Yes.
I'm just from a little city trying to make my way, so it's so much of an adventure to be here in the new place. So I appreciate you letting me know I'm in a great place. Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, go around front and just let them know you're there, I guess. And good luck.
Thank you. Um, and with that, feeling good, I am going to actually go around front and see about getting a job either cleaning or in the kitchen at um, the Uskin home, as it were.
All right. So you're what approaching the gate the gateman there.
Approaching the gateman.
All right. Yes. May I help you?
Hello. My name is Izzy, and I've started my own cooking cleaning company, and I'm looking for a couple of new clients. Does the residents of this manor need any cooking or cleaning services?
Um, Unfortunately, those services are already covered.
Oh, okay. Are they happy with those services? Are you happy with those services?
I have no insight into whether or not they're pleased with the services here, but I expect if they weren't, they would make a change.
Okay. Out of character, I'm not really sure where else I want to go to this conversation. I only half thought of this as we were doing it. I'm trying to figure out a way to get into this house in the daytime. Maybe it's better if I come back. And sorry, now I'm thinking out loud because now I've dug myself in the hole I'm not sure how to dig myself out of. I am going to write out a business card with fake contact information to give to this person, this doorman whose name I will ask the name. I'm writing down my contact information. If you find out anything, what's your name? What's your name? What's your name, good sir?
Cedric.
Cedric, yeah, if you find out anything, I'm writing down my contact information. Just go ahead and have them give me give me some notification and I can see what services I can provide. I'm pretty nimble, so if there are a lot of really expensive vases or chinaware or something, I'm really good at making sure things don't break. Yeah.
He just kind of gingerly takes your card in sort of that manner of someone kind of picking up something that may be a little bit dirty or disgusting and just kind of looks at it and to you and then very well. If I hear anything, I'm sure they'll get a hold of you at The visitors' hotel.
Cool beans.
Yes. Very good.
And yes, and as I skip off, I chuckle to myself, going, "That derisive attitude will make this so much easier when I break in later." Um, so now I'm out in this area. So this is sunny east, sunny bank,
Sunny Peak.
something?
Sunny Peak.
Sunny Peak. I just kind of want to get a feel for this area of town, if my friends in fancy suits are here, or if this just seems like a more of a suburban area. Just kind of get a feel for this part of the town.
It is absolutely not a suburb. That said, as you kind of walk around Sunny Peak, we'll move on to Elizabeth and Alex really quick. As you are heading into the sort of shopping areas of East Home to catch an early lunch, Phoebe has a couple of places that she thinks you all would like. She's kind of leading you ahead, and she looks back. So, were you thinking perhaps of seeing one of the other fights, or did you want to just rest or something? I mean, you don't have any place you have to be until tomorrow, really. So,
I would look at Drew because Peruynia doesn't feel strongly one way or the other.
I mean, I don't have very much to do, so if you want to watch one of the fights, I'll go with you.
Okay, but I don't want to watch a fight where we just were, because that crowd was I don't know. I don't think they were feeling me.
They weren't very pleasant. They weren't very friendly.
Yeah, maybe one of the fights at the other gyms.
Well, do you want to go? Well, there's the Fist of the Diplomat, which is in Sunny Peak, and then have you been to the Precipice?
I have not.
You must have seen it from the train coming in. It's the Sky Docks, essentially.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, the edge of the ring, and I'm sorry, I'm being a little catty. Russell Duchesne should be fighting there in the afternoon.
I would like to see that match.
So yes, I believe he's matched up with Miss Florence Gregory. So certainly after we eat, let us head over to the edge of the ring, and you can get a gander at Russell, who I don't really understand why he's so put upon, but he sure did make that known to us.
Some people don't really like Dragonborn. I don't.
I didn't feel that necessarily was the crux of the problem, but no matter. Certainly, we'll head to the edge of the ring after we eat, and we'll also do that after we take a 10-minute break. Elizabeth, did you have something you wanted to run into real quick?
Oh, I was just going to ask Phoebe if she was going to be joining us at the fight the whole time, or if she was just going to take us and drop us off.
She would like nothing better than to hang out with you all today.
I can distract her if you want to get rid of her.
No. I want her to go with us.
Oh, okay.
So, with that, we will take our 10 and see everybody on the other side. Welcome back, everybody. Lunch is a relatively simple affair. And with that, you make your way along with Phoebe and Lex is also just kind of traveling with you. Eyes about, looking here, looking there. But you arrive as the SkyTrain that runs through the precipice is bringing you closer. You kind of saw this from a distance, but you didn't get a really good look at it. And as you are getting closer, it is essentially Castaneda is up in the mountains, and this edge of the city, there's actually it's called the precipice because that's where like it falls off as a cliff. It's not a very high cliff, but it is enough that they're able to kind of bring ships alongside and to sort of build up and create several sort of docking bays for a variety of airships. And it's relatively impressive to see. There are a few ships that are waiting to kind of come in, and there are airships, of course, in Palacoon, and you see them every day. You see them every day. When you were in Vaishan, much rare. You didn't see them much at all. In Gilaludi, when you were at the coastal cliffs, there was the most you had seen there, and there be a handful of ships. This is a veritable airport of ships that are just there's ships coming in, there's ships moving out. There are ships, maybe 30 to 40 airships just in this vicinity, whether they're docked or they're flying in out or hovering and waiting. There's also a very interesting structure for everybody. There's and we know it just as a runway. There's nothing on that runway at this moment, but you do see a couple of vehicles that we would recognize just as sort of prop planes or jet planes. But this is not something that anyone is really used to seeing. This is obviously some sort of newer sort of flying technology. But you see all of this, and there is a lot of activity here, whether it's passengers disembarking or getting ready to get onto an airship, or whether it's dock workers who are pulling cargo off of ships or loading it onto ships. Mostly pulling. There's a lot of stuff that is imported to the city. There's not a lot that the city exports per se. But it's all very, very impressive to see. And as you get to the station, and Phoebe leads you down, you actually get right up to the edge, to the dock side, and then she brings you kind of down, and it makes you think a little bit about being in Gilaludi, except it's not as extensive. And she brings you to a building that is built into the wall of the cliff here, that has a very large open glass pane in the front for people who are inside to be able to see out. And you are brought in to the edge of the ring, which is just as the Cold Crest Boxing Club and the East Home Training Gymnasium is a training gym. There are a lot of people here. There are a lot of sort of the more well-to-do sort of folks that you saw at East Home Training Gymnasium, but there's also a lot of just like the dock workers that work here. A lot more sort of blue-collar folk are here, ready to watch the fight that is ramping up as you are here. The combatants are already in the ring, facing off against each other. One of them is on the card, identified as Florence Gregory. She is a sort of nondescript wearing sort of kind of casual workman's clothing. She's got coveralls, a long sleeve shirt that she's got kind of rolled up just past her elbows. Her hair is pulled back into a ponytail out of her face, and she is facing off against this fellow Russell Duchesne, who, again, he's wearing sort of a military coat, jacket over like a vest, and very very loose pants that are then tucked into his boots. He's got a cap on his head that he doesn't bother to take off when the fighting starts. And he is kind of your average, or not average, your quintessential sort of brawling body type, where he's got the very wide shoulders and the pretty beefy forearms. The fight, as many of these fights go, it doesn't last all that long. Russell does seem to be a very capable fighter, and despite Florence's obvious skill, that she's just not evenly matched, and he is able to, in about 5 rounds, take the win.
I really want to knock that hat off his head, because
it gets knocked off his head in the first round. I'm sorry,
very
I meant to say
annoying.
that.
Good.
It was like he just kind of forgot to take it off, and then after it got knocked off, he just kind of keeps it off. He's got a very thick handlebar sort of mustache, otherwise clean shaven. And as he is standing at the ring, just kind of with his hands up, like taking in the moment.
Do a flight clap.
He spots you, and immediately his face falls into like a scowl, and his arms kind of drop a little bit, and then he remembers himself, and then he kind of throws his arms back up. And after the fight, and a lot of people are kind of leaving, he pops out of the ring and just kind of beelines in your direction. What do you think you're doing here?
Same thing you were doing at my match, I reckon. So I wasn't booing at you.
I was told I would be the only fighter from Edivant, that there would be no one else.
Most places send 2 fighters. I'm really surprised by your anger at this decision.
Yes. Well, no one else from Edivant is good enough to fight in fights. Just me. I don't know how you pulled this.
By fighting, of course. Like, I did it through fighting. That's how.
I've never heard of you. Never heard of Zane Johnson. What even kind of name is that? Is that
Dragonborn
not a
family name?
Definitely no Ina London. There's no Ed of London name.
Well, I mean, people can travel, can they not?
Yes. Well, then you're a traveler, and you're not representing Edivand. I am
now.
representing Edivand. No.
And I fought in Edivand, and I earned my place here, same as you.
No. I've been. I would know. I would have heard of you.
I'm sorry that you're upset, but really, I mean you no ill will. I mean, you're same as all the other fighters here. May the best fighter win. I mean, goodness, are you that intimidated by me?
I'm not intimidated at all. I look forward to trouncing you in the ring, but that is not the point. Not the point. I will fight anybody, anytime. I am here to represent Edivand solely.
Why does solely make such a difference to you, sir? did a friend die? I mean, really, that seems like an inordinate amount of response for something as trivial as this.
I am not only the best from it. I am heads above others.
Well, considering I also fought there, I'd agree with that. But again, low bar, my man.
I should be celebrating.
As you should be. Congratulations on your win. And I walk away.
Phoebe just kind of smiles and then turns with you, and he's really mad.
I'm really good at making people mad.
I don't know why he's mad either, though.
I mean, really, it is beyond, I think, normal anger. I would agree.
Well, he's one of the I believe he's one of the high houses of Trilepia, the capital in, and there I from what I know, they're all pretty, like, there's a lot of rivalry there amongst the various houses. So probably maybe has something to do with that. But
Well, I obviously don't come from any of his rival houses. I mean,
yeah, not sure.
I wish I could give Peruynia some inspiration for that very sick burn. I'm sad that I can't do that just as a verbal spell. Someone please give Peruynia inspiration for that amazing sick burn.
that's okay. I feel it as a person, so it's great.
Yeah. The place is still rather busy. It's not doesn't appear to be emptying out all that much, and it's kind of and as you're looking around at the various folks, Phoebe goes off to talk to the folks at the administration desk. And one second here. Trying to figure out what's going on with Joey's mic, because it is pushing some sort of
It's like
background noise.
Yeah, it's like breathy or something, but we can't hear your voice. Stay tuned with us, folks. He's just fixing his signing off the cameras and signing back on, and it seems to fix it sometimes.
It typically fixes every single time.
Yep.
I don't know why. I have no idea. Mine was lighting up when Danny was talking, so I couldn't even tell you what was going on there.
Weird.
Yeah.
My bad.
All right. Yep. Yeah, and so it appears that folks aren't leaving, and Phoebe goes off to see who is going to be fighting next. And when she comes back, she's like, so apparently Lady Uskun is having her first loser bracket fight just today. So she's one of the ones that's on the docket for, oh, by the way, that guy you fought yesterday, he's out of the competition entirely now already.
No.
Yeah, he had to do a night fight last night. Yeah, at Colchris, he didn't even advance beyond the first gym.
Oh, that's uncomfortable. Yeah.
Yeah, poor guy. But you know, the guy he fought gets to stay, I guess, for another day at least. But yeah. So anyway, Lady Uskun is going to be fighting here next against Irene Burris, and so do you want to stick around for that, or do you?
Yeah, I would. I mean, really, I do have no other plan, so that part is simple. But I don't know. I don't know. An odd vibe from her. She's local, right? She's from here.
She's from Anshator, which is north.
Mm.
And I think she's from like the forests in the western part, pretty close to uh, Najisaku, maybe. But yeah, she's her family. They are sometimes they're up here for they're one of the diplomats that sit at
Oh.
the council. So like I think it's her
Has she always
uncle
been that
maybe or
pale?
something. I don't know. I'd never actually met her before.
I mean, human
And
skin colors are very confusing to me anyway, so I don't know. Maybe that's completely normal. But she did seem pale for a human.
She did seem kind of off-putting.
I agree, but I mean, you know, who knows? Who knows? Maybe she was sick, or like I mean, obviously she'd been injured before, because I mean, like her eye was obviously injured somehow, and maybe that has something to do with it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, I would love to stay and watch the match. Should be an interesting one to see.
Yeah, but for sure. Well, great. I think it should be in the next half hour or so, and then there's actually going to be a fourth fight here as well. So you know we'll get to see two fights from the losers bracket. That means two folks will be out. But you're doing great. You're in the winners bracket still, and there's 3 more days of gyms before we get to like the semi and the quarterfinals or whatever. Yeah, and she just then kind of excitedly talks about what she knows about the various styles of fighting and some of the things to look out for as we go back to university. Having procured everything you need for a to get the materials and what have you, it did cost a bit. It's the kind of cost that you would be grateful for a scholarship as you had in Desarin, but here you had to use actual gold, which you have because you're now a big shot adventurer.
Yay!
Do they do loans?
There's even secret gold and double secret gold.
Yes. And so with that, Amaj Grill sets you up in, he shows you a lab where you can work according to the schedule. There's no lab scheduled in that particular lab. So you've got a room to yourself for a couple of days,
Cool.
which will be useful. And then he leaves saying he's going to have somebody come down to talk about some of your other things. And as you are there, is there anything you and were wanting to talk to with Rojelio about before?
Oh, there's lots of things to talk about it from all of these books that are splayed out now in front of us. But for the sake of not droning out about science is magic.
Sure. About an hour and a half pass as there's a knock at the door.
I don't respond because I'm absorbed in a book and don't even hear it.
That's my job. I respond.
All right, you open the door and it's Malcolm. He is one of the operators from the for the lore machine that you were using.
The one from earlier?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi. Ahmad Skrill said that Miss Flag Light would be interested in a scry.
Oh yes, he did mention that. She is a bit into a book right now, but come in. I'll let her know you're here for that.
Certainly, as he looks at her over there.
Mm-hmm. So I go over and kind of tap her on the shoulder and
She jumps like.
Explain it. Yeah. like, the boy Malcolm's here. He said he's here to scry. The boy. He's a boy. I'm a robot. He's a boy.
Hi, Malcolm. She kind of like sighs because she wants to check on her family. She wants to check on Professor Barungan. She wants to check on Aegis. She wants to check on Lox. She would even check on Zivid. But she gets one shot at this. So, let's do Arturus.
Interesting.
Tempted to do a Flamgesu too, but Arturus, he's the one moving around more.
All right. So you mean the fellow that supposedly led the attack here at the school?
Yes, he's been problematic in other ways as well, and it's time for us to start getting a step ahead of him instead of him showing up unexpectedly.
Let's see. Okay. So the way this particular magic works is that it works best the closer you have a connection, and because I will have to involve you in this particular this particular ritual casting. It will be, what you have, your knowledge will suffice. So I would need you for the duration of the ritual while we get everything set up to just kind of picture him in your head. And I don't imagine you don't have anything of his, do you? No.
Would it help if there might be something of his left behind in the construction site?
I maybe, yeah. I mean, if it was like directly his,
you don't think a piece of one of the undead?
No, I don't think that would do it. In fact, that might even kind of mess with it a little bit. Like,
I wonder if was the attack what staved him off? Perhaps there's blood left behind somewhere that we could find.
I don't know that you'd find his. He was pretty. From what I understand, he was fairly separated from the actual conflict as it occurred. But maybe there were a lot of people that day. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you're welcome to look around.
I don't think Danny back in the day. I know I like to steal books now, but I don't think I stole from the hidden place. Did I? Because we kind of rushed through the end and said I found a book on a desk that had the same title as the book on the shelf that moved the bookshelf.
Right. Yeah, I don't think you took it.
Okay. Then no, I have nothing of his. But I think we are on each other's minds enough that there may be more connection there.
Maybe so. Well, it's fine. I mean, you know who he is. You've met him, and yeah. Let's we'll get it set up. Just let's see. Have a seat, and he has a bag with him that he kind of sets, and he opens it up and pulls out a large crystalline orb, and he has a stand for it, and he sets it in front of you. So you're going to focus on this, and you're going to just try your best to see the image of him, his face. Think about your interactions with him. Try to remember those times that you spoke with him, and that's what you're gonna be focused on for the next several minutes. As I and he holds up a piece of chalk. Get everything else set up. Yes.
She nods as she's already thinking about the 3 times that they've met.
And if you just kind of stand a little ways away and give us a little bit of room, and I will get this kind of going. All right. And with that, he begins to inscribe in chalk on the table itself directly several sigils and runes. He marks them up the stand and like connects from the stand up, or from the runes on the table, and then he kind of connects them through lines up the stand onto the focus. And all right.
Is anyone else curious what Annie rolled off screen?
Never good.
As you are looking at the ball, it's a clear crystal ball. Like you can see through it, actually. But as you're watching, it starts to cloud over. And you're thinking about these moments that you met Artaris. And after several minutes, you start to get a hazy sort of picture in this ball. As it clears up, you see Artaris. He's standing in a room. Everything in this room, as far as you can tell, is wood. Wooden walls, wooden ceiling, not a very high ceiling. In fact, it only barely clearance for Artaris's head. And even the floor, though it's got some carpeting. There's a desk. You see a bed, the edge of a bed off to the side. And Artaris is talking. It sounds like he's berating someone. And as like it crystallizes and you can like hear what he's saying, you hear the words, and let me know immediately when they arrive. And then he just kind of hits a stack of like objects off of the desk, cursing. And then he stops. And you can hear something just very barely in your hearing, as sort of like a ping, 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 ping. And as he stiffens up at that, he turns and you see him casting a spell. and then he looks right at you. Interesting. Now, who might you be? And then he casts another spell that you, well, no, not that you recognize. And then he casts another spell, and the vision fades. Make a perception check real quick.
I'm going to use inspiration on that.
Okie doke. Much better. Inspiration brought to you by Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
All right. So there was a window, or more aptly, a portal, and you could see that outside of this portal, mountains, snow-capped, but moving past.
He's on a train.
Room is really big.
The room was really big?
It was bigger. It was too big to be a
train.
train. It was too big to be a train.
An airship?
Perhaps.
Any insight on where he's heading based on those mountains? Like where, if he was going somewhere from here, because this is the last place he was. So where from here are snow-capped mountains, and that would be on that side of the window.
Make a survival check.
All of my +1s, Danny, is what you want me to roll.
Pretty good. You know, it's not the thing that you paid the most attention to. But you would say that, judging from just your knowledge of where he had been previously, and the time of day that it is, and where the shadows kind of sat on those mountains, if you had to venture a guess, let me pull up. You would say that he is flying south out of, like, he is flying south, and the density of the mountains, like he is looks like maybe he is about to head out over the Mersai, which would mean that he is moving in the direction of Elam, the continent. It would also put him east of, like, the major cities and mountains of Palakune for the most part. And I will show you something more specific to that direction of travel, so that you can get a better idea of where that is. But
okay.
But that's what you get out of that.
So if I make the assumption that he's heading toward Elam and he's saying, "Let me know when they arrive," who else would be going all the way to Elam? The only other 2 people I know that have an airship or can fly an airship are Zivid and the dude I blew out of the sky. Which is doesn't mean they're connected. But I'm very interested in asking Nugatsa to pull more strings and get me a shipping manifest, airship manifest of what airships have left the city since the attacks. Who are the pilots? Where are they headed? Destinations? All of that. If there's anything that, whether private or publicly chartered, see if I can get anything.
To the extent that folks keep records of that, you can certainly try to get that information. So.
Okay, so that's another to-do list item for me. But I'm also fascinated by the "Who are you?" statement, as though he doesn't know.
Do you ask that? Like at this point, like we're just seconds after the vision ended because you mostly rolled dice.
No, this is all in my head, I think. But I will explain to Rojelio because he ran into me twice in Deseren. I don't expect him to necessarily remember that. But he knows my professor, because that's who was here when the attack happened. And he visited me in Flanotbefell when I was put in jail after Panabon attacked some guards at the High Priest's house. And he let me go, but sent an assassin after me that was a monster. And with how obsessed Flumgesu has been since then on ensuring that Panabon and I are dead, there's no way he doesn't remember.
Malcolm says, "So you did see him then?"
I saw him and he saw me.
Could Malcolm and I not see that?
Malcolm did not, and no, you did not either.
Okay.
Oh, I assumed you did.
So he saw. So how did that happen? Did he just see you immediately, or?
No, some kind of alarm went off, as though he had like a ward in place that could detect when he was being which is fascinating. I'd love to learn how he did that. Maybe there's something in divinity that anyway. But he got the alarm, he cast something, was able to see me, and then cast something else that ended my feed of him.
Well,
he ate it.
If he had, well, my best guess would be some manner of abjuration to detect the scry, and then likely a simple invisibility seeing spell, because the way this magic works, it actually creates a sort of like an invisible eye that hovers near the target, near the focus, and so that's what he likely saw.
So he didn't see me, he saw the eye.
Yes. And most people who have this magic, their eye, if you will, could be tied back to them. It's like tailored to the individual. So if I were to look again, he would know that it was the same. If I were to cast again, he would know it was the same person. If he then ever knew that it was me, then anytime after he would recognize mine. Does that make sense?
That does. Do you know how to do those abjuration alarms? Is that something that's taught here?
The abjuration wing would know more specifics, but there are several protections for varieties of magics.
Is that
Yes.
something you personally know?
I know some simple wards. I don't think I have one that. Well, maybe it would. I would have to think about it. But I have an alarm ward that would let you know if someone entered into a protected or specified location or space. Just with the way I perform the scrying, it is ritualistic. So with time and preparation, you could set this up for yourself.
Is that only a physical being walking into a place, or is that something that would detect something like this eye that would appear if you're being scryed?
I'd have to test that. I think it's for me. I suppose it hasn't it hasn't really come up, but maybe not. No, I don't think it would. I don't think that one would.
Think about
There
it.
may be.
Think about it and let me know. I'd be willing to teach you a spell I've learned on my journeys in exchange for you teaching me your alarms.
Certainly. Absolutely. Yeah, I'll see. I'll figure that out. Other than that, is there anything else you need this evening?
No, thank you. I appreciate your help and your time and your energy. I know that's not easy to put a lot of energy into that.
Yeah, certainly. Have a good night, a good evening, and perhaps we'll see you on the morrow.
When they leave, I look at Rojelio and I'll tell him exactly what I saw, and then say, the good thing is, if Arturus is abroad in Elam, that means we don't have to worry for a little while about him coming for us. However, I think just like Flumgesu, he has plenty of resources working for him, and I worry about what he's up to, but we've done as much as we can for now. There might be a job for Panabon to find the shadow network in this city and see if they've heard what Arturus was up to while he was in the city. Where did he stay? What did he do? Who did he talk to? I'd be interested to know.
Well, we can definitely reconvene with Panabon later tonight. They should be back at the hotel. I think they even had some fruit last time. I'm not sure if you saw that or not. But I do have a question about your vision. You said at the end of the vision, he ate the magic or absorbed it, I guess.
No,
Eat is my term.
He cast a spell that disabled, like it broke my spell.
Yeah, can you do that?
Not in the same way. I'm not sure exactly what he used, but if someone tries to cast magic at me right now, I can disable that. I call it siphon magic, where I pull the magic from the action that they are trying to do and pull it toward myself instead. So they can't use that magic for that specific spell. So it kind of stops a spell at a time. It does cost quite a bit of energy, but...
Oh, okay. I thought that was a common magic user thing.
I mean, it's not the most difficult spell, but it's something that you need to use kind of in the moment as it's being cast, rather than after it's already been cast. So what he did was disabled something that was already sustained, instead of blocking it from happening while it's happening.
Oh, well, that sounds equally as useful. Have you ever tried it?
I haven't. I'll take notes on it and think of what might be... I think that using siphon magic, which is what I call the spell, it could be modified from my current learnings and research on it to be able to use that energy in a different way to perhaps do what he did. But a lot of my spells, I try to research how long can I do it, how far can I do it, and push those limits of, how much damage could it do, and push the limits of it. But some of them I seem to get to a roadblock where that's as far as we can get. So it might be, 60 feet is the farthest I seem to be able to throw my freeze blade. So, but I keep trying to do it further. I keep trying to do it bigger. I keep trying to do it more. But it seems that some of these spells have limits.
I didn't know you put that much time and effort into learning and casting spells. Just because for the most part, I try it and it kind of happens. I know there are different types of spell casting.
Yeah, I mean, I that's why I have my books, so that I can try to do it better. I mean, magic's new to this world. You woke up with it, but not all of us did. So, yes, some things just seem to happen, but why not? It's like flexing, working out a muscle. I right now could only throw a ball so far, but if I practiced and I got stronger, why couldn't I throw it farther or harder?
I mean, I've personally never tried amplifying it, so to speak, but it's an interesting theory.
Been around, what, a week?
Yes, but for the most part, I like to replicate the things that I see you do or the other magical effects in my own time.
Yeah, you can practice it. We could practice it together. It takes more energy, but we try.
All right, then try we will.
Thank you so much for the raid, by the way, and the sub. Risky Reds, please, and Megaro as well. If you'd like to give a nat 20 to the player of your choice, please do.
Or me.
Danny gets some from Patreon every single month, and so he's got plenty.
Oh my goodness.
I can attest to that. He does have
like
stash to use, so he doesn't really need
nat 20s
them.
a month, and like,
Yeah, we don't need him to get any more.
No,
That would be
no.
great.
Wow, I can't believe this.
Just type it in the chat, Ramus the Nomad. You just say, hey, I want to give my nat 20 to Peruynia or Panabon or Drusilla or any anyone. So
I think Ramos is asking the step before that.
Oh, to do that, you can, so here, pound D&D. And then, so if you follow us, you get an inspiration to give to any player. So we get to re-roll a bad roll. If you do bits, and I think channel points should be in here too. Channel points and subscribes get you more, so you can take a look, and that's how you interact with the game. But yeah, we were talking about magic and Arturus and how he's super evil, and we want to see if we can collect anything of what he's doing. Probably also any intel from Panabon that they can get on the Dragonborn, the Dark Claws here in the city. There doesn't seem to be many, but doesn't mean that they're not sneakily doing their sneaky, stupid Dragonborn things. So
Don't worry, I'll annoy them enough. They'll give up their information.
yeah.
Very good. For the rest of the afternoon, you do see when Lady Uskun does arrive, and her opponent is just not up to the task, and your ability, Peruynia, to avoid Lady Uskun's attacks and to then put her down is not at all shared by her opponent, Irene, in this match. And Helen easily, within just 3 rounds, 1, 2, 3, wins that match.
Interesting. Does she look? I'd love to roll perception on her, since like I feel like in fighting her, like I probably should have done that but didn't. But I would like to do so now.
Absolutely.
Perception is not something that I'm very good at.
Ramus
Alright.
sent a nat 20 to Danny.
Awesome.
She looks great to me.
Oh, you just rolled a 1 on your
Oh,
check
no,
there?
Yeah, I did. I told you it's not my strong suit.
Yeah.
Oops.
You have inspiration.
Is it important enough? I'm like, no. We're just, Drew. I'll look at you and say, does she look normal to you? And you can roll.
May I roll a perception check to not only
Oh my God.
You can roll a perception check. Goodness.
I would also like to look at the crowd to see if I see my friend anywhere.
I would also
Okay.
like to point out that Peruynia rolled performance, not perception.
Yes, I just changed
That
the
could be
plus
part
6
of
to
it.
the plus whatever.
It wouldn't have
and-
helped my nat 1 though. So
No, it wouldn't have. Oh, that's funny.
All right. So Drew, however, after the fight, Drew, you would say that if anything, there's a little bit of there's a little bit more life to Lady Uskun. She just like the feralness of her nature, just sort of this raw sort of magnetism that is just emanating from her, as she quickly exits from the ring. The way that she moves is it makes you think of some like a creature on the hunt, as she nods to her companions to exit out, leaving quickly from the gym into back into the city itself. the grin that ever present grin that she has, actually reaching her eyes just a little bit in that moment.
Great. That's great.
Panabon, meanwhile, having kind of explored this part of the city, Sunny Peaks, it's very clean. There's not a lot of there. You don't see any. There are no. There are no like street urchins. There's no panhandlers. It's very clean. There's several of the embassies, and through your kind of discussions with people, you learned that there is no that the diplomats themselves, they're not in what they call session, so they're not actually here doing the governance actively, and so a lot of the homes for the various diplomats are empty. Actually, there's nobody there except a very light staff to kind of keep things clean. And as evening falls and it gets later, are you going back to the hotel? Are you planning on doing the sortie much later at night, or are you just waiting for darkness to fall?
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to the hotel. So I kind of wanted to get a feel for how people feel about Lady Uskin, so I just casually kind of asked around about their reputation. What kind of information would I have gotten about?
Give me an investigation check real quick. So in kind of moving around and just talking to various people, stopping in taverns, what have you, you've gained a little bit more insight into or knowledge about her as like, for the most part, everyone finds her off-putting. It's not to be unexpected. She's got a weird grin no matter how she seems to be feeling. The scar over her cataracted eye, the sort of like feral nature to her movement. The stories that you're hearing are that there were problems. There have been problems with people going missing in the area of Ansheltor that she is from, and that she and other members of her family have been fairly preoccupied in the recent several months, maybe year or so, in trying to get to the bottom of these disappearances and stem them and stop them from happening. The rumor is that the injury that she suffered to her eye has been in pursuit of this endeavor, whatever it is.
Is there like a mailbox set up, like even like a slot in a door where I can like leave a note at the manor?
Not really. There's the gateman, who is different when you come back this time.
Okay. I'm going to write a note, but I'm going to couch it in terms of investigation and maybe throw in a couple lines about magic, both good and bad, and then I'm gonna like be like, if you want to talk more, send some flowers to Cochrane at this location, and I'll get back to you. And I'm going to deliver that, but I'm going to pretend I'm delivering it from a different foreign land. So it looks like a diplomat thing that I'm giving the gateman. That all makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. It made sense in my head.
It makes I understand what you're getting at. Let me get from you.
It makes sense. It's just questionable.
Well, I mean, this is me we're talking about. I don't know why questionable would be.
What address did you put on there, Panabon?
Let's get from you a roll your disguise kit check. That's the one we'll use.
Oh, my disguise.
Okay, and I'm sorry, with disadvantage, so roll again.
Aw.
Because you don't know how a diplomatic letter should look. So,
Aw.
all right, a 9.
9.
You've got a letter. It says the things you want it to say. You don't know. You're like, this seems diplomatic, and you leave it with the gateman. Give me a performance or deception, and this is not with. It's just straight up.
They're the same, so I'll do performance. I haven't rolled that in a while. And
okay. All right, so
I don't like when you're rolling dice outside, so we can't see the number that comes up.
So the gatesman accepts it and just kind of nods and sets it in there's a like a little box. There's a couple other letters in there, and just kind of sets it with those and says that he'll ensure that that Lady Uskun receives the letter as you take off.
Great.
And with that,
Also,
back to the
dinner time.
Yes.
Back to the hotel for dinner.
So everybody's heading back to the hotel. Phoebe, make sure that you're on the right train for the Sky Train to get back to the hotel before she leaves to go tuck in for the evening as well. Shaelune and Rojelio, are you, as it gets dark, are you going back to the hotel, or are you staying at the school?
I am oblivious to time when my nose is in a book, so
Did you tell Rojelio? Yeah.
Because originally we said we were going to go back and talk to Panabon at the hotel, and if it's getting late, they're most likely there by now. So I will let them know.
So you'll stop me then?
Yeah, like
Okay.
once it starts to get dark, like, hey, we were supposed to go back and talk to Panabon. It's getting kind of late. How long did you want to?
Could you help me carry all this?
Yes, I can. What is all this? Like a bunch of books?
A lot of books, the alchemy equipment, pages and scribbles, and
Yes, I can help you carry all of the things.
imagine going to college and having all 4 years of your textbooks and carrying them back to your dorm room.
Got you. I don't have a bag. I just have 2 big arms. That's all I got. So yeah, I can help with those.
I have a satchel and 2 little arms, so it's
Together we have 2 medium person arms.
Yes.
I could technically actually tell you what, as we try to gather all this, and this is a lot of stuff, I'm just gonna take 10 minutes and cast floating disc, and then stack all the books on it, and we move and it follows us.
That'll work.
Say less. I will protect the disc.
All right. So with that, everybody convenes conveniently at the hotel at approximately the same time. And we'll have to pick up next week on the conversation that will ensue. So everybody think about over the next week what it is you want to discuss with everybody else now that you have everyone together and in a talking mood. And we'll see everybody back here once again at 8 p.m. Eastern. like clockwork. Thank you for joining us.
Good night, North America.